Hello televiewer and happy Friday to you out there. It's your favorite program, The Brief, live on My Media Prime Television. The program we get to discover or unveil some of the striking headlines that the papers have for us in Cameroon. And on the program today, our focus will be on the 55 billion francs CFA approved by the President of the Republic of Cameroon for the completion of works at Olembe Sports Complex in Yaoundé. We shall equally be talking about other issues as captured by the French newspapers in Cameroon. Bonjour Audrey Zaza.
Bonjour à vous, fidèles téléspectateurs de Débrief. Eh bien, qu'est-ce qui presse ce matin? Vous le savez, il y a de cela 3 jours, donc le 16 février 2021, le président de la République, son Excellence Paul Biya, par décret, autorisait le ministre de l'économie, de la planification et de l'aménagement du territoire à signer un décret de convention avec la Standard Chartered Bank de London afin de, n'est-ce pas, faire ce prêt de plus de 55 milliards de francs CFA, ce prêt ou alors cet argent qui est censé servir, qui est censé financer le projet de l'achèvement du complexe sportif d'Olembe. Donc les papiers ce matin en parlent et le messager de Feu Puisse Njawé par lequel nous débutons parle donc de cette affaire et selon lui c'est une grosse escroquerie lorsqu'il évoque cette rallonge budgétaire. Notre confrère en sa page 12 explique que les travaux de construction de cette infrastructure située à environ 13 km du centre urbain de Yaoundé, dont le budget d'exécution initial avait été fixé à 163 milliards de francs CFA, vient de bénéficier d'une rallonge de plus de 55 milliards de francs CFA. Selon Mutation, l'État du Cameroun s'endette à nouveau afin d'injecter 55 milliards de francs CFA pour l'achèvement des travaux de construction du complexe sportif d'Olembe, lesquels ont déjà coûté plus de 100 milliards aux contribuables. Pour lui, c'est un chantier accordéon. L'intégralité est à la page 15 de Mutation. Essingang de Marie-Robert Elundou écrit qu'il s'agit des 55 milliards d'une supercherie. Pour cause, explique-t-il, l'habitation ou alors l'habilitation octroyée pour le président Paul Biya le 16 février dernier au ministre de l'économie a contracté un emprunt pour achever les travaux de l'infrastructure sportive. Relève que ces fonds extérieurs n'avaient jamais été mobilisés pour le projet. Toujours dans Essinga, dans son numéro, revient sur le jeu de massacre contre le fils du chef de l'État par certains qui voient en ce dernier le dauphin de son père. La dernière invention des architectes de la déstabilisation de Franck Biya est un faux appel de fonds visant à soutenir sa candidature imaginaire à la magistrature suprême. Une manœuvre de plus initiée par le nommé Alain Fidèle Owona dans l'optique de discréditer celui qui s'est toujours éloigné des luttes de succession à la tête de l'État. Et ça, c'était selon Essingang. Donc, Info Matin, par lequel nous terminons, parle de 1,5 milliard pour la reconstruction du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest. Le document irrélatif a été paraphé par le ministre de l'économie Alamine Ousmane Meh, l'ambassadeur du Japon Osawa Tsutomi et le représentant résident du PNUD Jean-Luc Stallon à l'immeuble Étoile sous l'égide du Premier ministre Joseph John Gouté. Voilà, madame, messieurs, pour les tabloïds en langue française. Place aux tabloïds en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha Kingsley.
Thank you, Rizak. We begin with municipal updates this morning. Municipal updates which revisit the meeting at the Star Building yesterday, where the Japanese government has joined international support for the reconstruction of the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. The signatory to that effect was done yesterday at the Star Building in the presence of the country's representative of the United Nations Development project or plan in Cameroon, and in the presence of Japanese ambassador to Cameroon. 1.5 billion francs CFA Japanese government has offered to the government of Cameroon for the reconstruction of the war-ravaged northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. And the paper also reports or talks about the good leadership advocacy for Africa and what Abobala's appointment means to Cameroon Cameroon, Abu Bala, who has been appointed recently to head a good leadership advocacy for Africa. He was appointed recently for a 2-year mandate, as reported by the paper. And Emergence newspaper this morning took interest in the loan validated by the President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, over 55 billion francs CFA. The paper described the loan as 55 billion of shame, the money which has been which will be disbursed for completion works at the Olembe Sports Complex in Yaoundé. It should be recalled that the project has already swallowed over 163 billion francs CFA, and the 55 billion comes to add to the over 163 billion which has already been swallowed by the project in Yaoundé, making it one of the most expensive projects when it comes to sports complex in the world as at now. And the Emergence newspaper also took interest in a municipal police worker who has cheated death in Buea after he was caught with some stolen items. You can get details of that story on page 3 of this edition of Emergence newspaper. We end with the Guardian Post. The Lone English Daily revisit the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. The paper, in one of its elite or major headlines, writes, failed attempts to resolve crisis in the northwest and southwest. The paper is questioning this morning, could the unpopularity of Anglophone ministers also be the problem in the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon? The paper went further to explain that new thinking is beginning to sweep across the political spectrum in the face of the stalemate in addressing the root causes of the more than 4 years Anglophone crisis that has since morphed into an armed conflict after several appeasement measures by the Yaoundé regime to put an end to the crisis, and which have yielded a little or no heavy or no fruit in resolving the crisis. Analysts are saying that, or they are now positing that the ultimate solution could be that which would come at the expense of Biya dropping most of, if not all of his Anglophones allies in the government and those currently occupying top position in the administration or the administrative machinery in Cameroon. The paper went further to relay the message of the analysts, saying that the analysts are arguing that such Anglophone top brass in the Biya regime have grown unpopular, and as such their legitimacy and acceptance by the local population in the two English-speaking regions of the country at an all-time low, is now at an all-time low. So the analysts are saying that the government or the President Paul Biya should sack all the Anglophones top elites and bring in those who still have some little legitimacy in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon. And the Guardian Post also revisit the recent outing of the director of a container terminal at the Douala Autonomous Seaport. In only 1 year of operation, the paper writes, Douala Port Container Terminal generates over 49 billion francs CFA. You can get details of that story on page 2 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. We end with this headline that has to do with the Anglophone crisis. IDP allegedly raped to death in Fumba Nun division of the west region of Cameroon. We are back in the studio to meet our guest, who is coming on the brief for the very first time. He's one of us, permanent consultant in the house. We are talking about Prince Joel Mukage. Prince, good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning for the very first time on the brief.
Good morning to you, Lasha. Like you said, this is my first time to be on your platform, The Brief, but I'm not a stranger in the house. I want to say that I appreciate the work that you're doing very much. You could see that I was smiling while we're doing what you are doing. It's really a marvelous job.
Thank you, Prince, and we equally appreciate your time for being with us. Let's rapidly or begin vividly with Emergence newspaper, which describes the 55 billion CFA, that is the money that have been approved by President Paul Biya for completion works at the Olembe multipurpose sports complex, and we are told that the project has already swallowed 163 billion, and President Biya is approving another 55 billion loan, and this approval of President Paul Biya has sparked wide
55 billion, and given that the project had already swallowed a colossal sum, I think that Cameroon has other major projects. Cameroon has other bigger projects that the head of state would have gone for that kind of a loan to ensure that they are solved. It's very true that Cameroon just hosted one major event, the CHAN, and that Cameroon is eyeing the AFCON 2022. But now, when you look at this sum just for a stadium, it tells you that there are some persons who are going to benefit from it, because the problem at times is not the amount per se, because when you see colleagues of the press talking about the fact that the amount is too much, and that is a shame, is because they are looking at past projects. If you look at...
And the project is already at 80%.
That's the issue, because they are looking at past projects. Olembe is one of those projects. If you look at how much this stadium has already consumed, and you're going to take 55 billion that the project should get to completion, we start asking ourselves whether you want to build a stadium that is not in Stamford, whether you want to build a stadium that is not even in Barcelona, because Cameroon has better other projects. So if our colleagues like the Mejan said this morning that it's an issue of shame, I want to believe that it's an issue of shame, because there are better things. The amount, first of all, because the issue is not the project. The issue here is not the project. It's true that Cameroon wants to organize in 2022 the AFCON. But when you look at a project that is already 80% gone, and you're going to take 55 billion francs to talk about completion.
Could that money not be justified? Sometimes we've had to argue. We have people that have taken contracts to supply, for example, a pen at the level of the ministry. We are told that at times a pen is 1,000 francs, a pen that we buy for 100 francs, 150 francs. Don't you think that money is justified? Like we had a bag of cement for the Yaoundé-Douala auto route costing 17,000 francs. Don't you think it could still be justified?
No, there's no justification for the money. The issue is, remember that the president in his address to the youth, he talked about the fact that even during the other stadia, he's calling on the Ministry of Sports and those concerned with sports to ensure that this infrastructure is taken care of. It means at the level of the presidency, he had already identified the problem. If you come again and you're adding this sum, there is a problem. It means that up to now, Lasha, there is supposed to already be a program that says, okay, if we are 80% gone, Mr. President, we need this amount to ensure completion.
So that's exactly what has been presented to the president. He just approved what the ministerial department concerned with the work.
But that is why we are saying that the president, these things take stages, they take processes. A document doesn't just leave like that and go to the presidency. It has taken a lot of stages, and we feel that the money is too much. The problem here is the money.
Prince, ce matin, moi j'ai envie de me focaliser un petit peu. Est-ce que le problème c'est cet argent ou alors l'utilisation de cet argent? Est-ce que les personnes qui entourent le président de la République ont pensé au retour sur investissement de ce projet? Est-ce que ce stade, ce complexe sportif d'Olembe pourra générer des revenus conséquents afin de recouvrir cette dette?
What revenue can...
Audrey, comme je disais tout à l'heure, moi je pense que le problème c'est le montant. Le problème se retrouve au niveau de 55 milliards. C'est trop. Even if you want to construct a stadium, 55 billion is enough to construct a stadium from start till end. It is very true. How much do we sell cement in Cameroon? How much do we get those that are going to do the job? So the problem is simple. First of all, the amount. Secondly, those who are misinforming the president. They may have come up with a project. Okay, Mr. President, we are at this level. We need this to complete. But now, that is why there is always this problem of the follow-up. Because what is it going to bring back to Cameroon? A very simple example, like you asked. Look at the sham that just ended in Cameroon. Japoma, even Amat said now, this is one of the best stadia I've ever seen in the world, in Africa as a whole. We saw so many players who appreciate it. It is a good thing that Cameroon needs infrastructure. The problem here, two things. Il y a question d'argent, 55 milliards, c'est beaucoup. C'est pour ça que tu vois les confrères ce matin, on pense que c'est beaucoup. Et derrière ça, il y a certains ministres, comme le président, disons, comme le président ne connaît pas ce qui se passe sur le terrain.
Mais il est le président. Comment vous dites qu'il ne connaît pas?
No,
How can you say
the president,
the president, the executive officer has other people who are working.
We are already at 80%.
We have secret service. We have other service that ransom all those.
You know that
is happening.
The issue that we've always condemned is the fact that you pick people for embezzlement and drop them. Embezzlers are going to come up here. Why? Because a project is already at this level, and then you bring up another amount that could take the project from start to finish. It means that you're helping some individuals to put money in their pocket, and the next day they're going to talk about embezzlement. So I think that the amount is extremely huge, and those who are telling the president we needed this amount are misinforming him.
Maintenant, Président, le cas où on n'arrive pas à recouvrir cette dette à la longue, quelle génération en souffrira?
C'est les dettes que toi, moi, on va payer, nos enfants vont payer. C'est de ça qu'il est question. Parce que dès qu'on prend là, on parle de 55 milliards. Dès que l'État n'arrive pas à payer, on passe à un prochain président, et les prochains ministres, et la génération qui suit.
Et le Cameroun s'enfonce.
Mais c'est ça le pays. C'est pour ça que, vous savez, quand tous les journaux se lèvent un matin, comme ce qui s'est passé aujourd'hui, pour parler des mêmes sujets.
Treated as escroquerie. I don't know.
Escroquerie, which is like deception, is stealing. Because if you see newspapers in a country,
yeah, le messager, a gross escroquerie.
So when you see newspapers in a country that are not owned by the same publisher, when they come up with almost the same, because if we were to do a content analysis of what all these papers have this morning, you will agree with me and those watching this morning that there is an issue of the amount, there is an issue of the project already realized, and there is an issue of those who demanded that the money be given, which to me, I just feel that Cameroon has a lot of problems for now. This money is just too much. Not that stadia are not important, they are very important. But when you put so much money into something that what is going to give the country back in return is to an extent not that much. Why put so much money into it?
Please, let's talk about this pledge by the Japanese government. Yesterday, the Japanese ambassador was at the Star Building, and Japan has offered Cameroon 1.5 billion for the reconstruction of the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Is this money really, is it the right time for this kind of issue to be talked about when the guns are still smoking in the northwest? Last time Porter song was supposed to be there, and up to now we've not seen any concrete actions taken on the ground. And
you know, Lasha, the issue is you don't reconstruct when guns are still ongoing. That is why the personal representative of the Pope, Pedro Parolin, told even Ferdinand Gongo was in Bamenda, even when he was received at the presidency, he said this, that dialogue and reconstruction, or rather reconciliation, is the only way out of the crisis. Because when guns are still ongoing and you pump this amount, permit me to tell you, Lasha, that I think last year the Chinese government also supported victims of the crisis with the same sum. Now these are things that come to win bilateral relationship. Japan wants to face or have a good image in the place of Cameroon. But now the country is telling the world that okay, we are
already
already
free. Are they just?
No, it's not. It's not free. It's not free money. It's a bilateral relationship. And when you're doing a relationship with any person, you struggle to lobby. And you don't lobby empty-handed. You lobby with something to tell the person, okay, I also know what you're going through. I sympathize with you, and this is what I can give you. When the Japanese give today, some of them come ask for a project in Cameroon.
I mean, our tons of gold and bauxite mineral in Betara.
But that is what is happening. That is what is happening.
Vous avez parlé de réconciliation tout à l'heure, réconciliation avant la reconstruction. Alors cette réconciliation dont tous les Camerounais, que tous les Camerounais demandent, est-ce que c'est vraiment possible? Parce qu'on a vu tout le monde clamer réconciliation, la paix, mais on a l'impression que les mêmes problèmes reviennent sur la table.
Oui, le même problème revient parce qu'il y a question de mauvaise foi. On a certains gens qui pensent que la crise anglophone est déjà finie et terminée, alors que ce n'est pas vrai.
Ou alors, est-ce qu'ils font semblant de croire que c'est terminé?
Non, ils font semblant. Ils font semblant. Vous venez même de voir ce qui s'est passé avec 55 millions. Ça montre qu'il y a certains gens qui sont en train de dire ce qui n'est pas vrai sur le terrain. Je vais dire à un autre chef que si vraiment la crise anglophone est finie, s'il faut passer à cette étape, il est question que comme Ferdinand Gongo, qui est ministre d'État, secrétaire général à la présidence, c'est lui-même qui signe parfois les décrets. Si vraiment la crise anglophone est finie, il était à Bamenda, mais il s'est limité au niveau d'Ayaba. Il s'est limité au niveau de Upstation. Il faut aller vers Cambé. Sans les gens en tenue. Dès qu'il parle là-bas, il revient, on dira que la crise anglophone est finie. Le jour qu'un ministre sera soit à Boya, à Manfé, sans les hommes en tenue, on dira que la crise anglophone est finie. Mais tant que tous les ministres vont toujours là-bas, avec les militaires, avec tout ce qu'on voit chaque jour, moi je pense toujours qu'il y a toujours la crise anglophone. Et on ne peut pas parler de la réconciliation alors qu'il y a toujours l'âme.
Okay, thanks so much, Prince Joel Mukage, for coming. We hope to have you some other time on the program.
It's my privilege. I want to really say that I enjoyed it. I really very enjoyed it, and congratulations for the job you guys are doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prince. Fut un plaisir de vous avoir. Madame, Messieurs, merci d'avoir été des nôtres. Et bien, restez scotchés pour plus sur My Media Prime Television.
Thank you very much, televiewers, for watching. And the time was at the broadcast, and the program was produced by Tebon Christian. For presentation, we've been Odris Agza and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.